Yeah, I'm starting to like trip out because I'm like so confident that like last week I thought it was going to be a close game. And just based on like we said Bill Belichick, the history, like it's never been done.
Right.
And they went there and just took their souls and kind of put the Patriots out of the playoff map. It seems like now they're thinking like, oh, they're done and whatnot. And now we go into week 8, halfway point against Seattle, and I'm feeling really confident. Like I have no nerves whatsoever, which is kind of freaking me out a little bit. Which is like maybe I'm gonna be completely wrong, but yeah, I mean, okay, we go back to last year. The Niners were kind of handling Seattle for the most part. And then late, Seattle does what they do best, kind of get into their run and make it close, which is where when Greenlaw had that terrific play to save the day. But I kind of feel like it's going to go somewhat similar. And Niners are going to control the game for the most part. Wilson will have his try to save the day type of drive, but the Niners will come up on top. And again, I'm kind of tripping out because I feel like, man, I don't know, like maybe you should be a little bit nervous, but like I feel confident by the way this team is playing. I see Seattle coming back down to earth within the last 2 games they played against Arizona and then against the Vikings. They came out flat in that game, but yeah, I've always felt like Seattle was kind of a lopsided team. You're going up against a top 5 defense. You're going up against a top 10 offense. So
Yeah.
here we go.
Yeah, totally fair. Especially with, again, we talked about earlier, lack of fans. You're in Seattle, but like, there's no, there's no
And that
fans.
was huge. That was always huge going in.
Yeah,
Like crowd noise, silent count. Now it's none of that.
yeah, and you can't feed off of that energy from the crowd off of a big play. You just can't. It's almost like you're playing on the neutral field, honestly. And the way Shanahan is calling his offense right now, like he seems to be completely locked in, and
Yeah.
that's scary, honestly. When Shanahan's, I think he just locked in like he is, like that's it kind of honestly kind of reminds me of his dad, when he was with Niners that Super Bowl season when he got locked in and that offense figured everything out and they were just destroying teams. He was just locked in. And I feel like Kyle is kind of these last couple of weeks, like you just see him, everything he does is just gold. I mean, like it's
His
just
interviews are just like, he touched on that a little bit. He was just like, yeah, I get into a mindset before a game where I just get locked in and, just like a player would, just like Kittle would and things like that. He gets locked in and we kind of seen that. And again, I think it goes back to Miami. Like something happened after that game. Players, coaches, everyone looked themselves in the mirror and said, what do I got to do to get better? And everyone is pulling on the same string right now. Like there's no complaints. And like we haven't even touched on offensive line because honestly, when you don't talk offensive line, that's a great thing.
yeah.
Like it's one of those things like when you're doing good, you don't talk about them.
Yep.
When you're doing bad, you're highlighted. And they were like the first few weeks of the season. Now we don't even talk about them. And, you know, Ryan Brunskill is just like a completely different player. McGlinchey, these guys just have a different mentality right now.
Yeah, that Miami game was, and for me, that was like the chin check game. Whether you made of as individuals and as a locker room, like, does this break the? Do you start seeing them yelling at each other, or
Right.
do they come together? They obviously came together, and I think Shanahan, the one thing he did smartly, and we touched on it after the Rams game, is he gave the line confidence by even on the passing plays, they're quick. Height, boom, get it out. So they're not having to hold blocks for, this isn't a 5-7, step drop back offense. It's a quick get it out, 3-step, bam. And so build up their confidence. So when later on you are asking to hold their blocks for, you know, a 5-step drop, those kind of things, I think mentally they're like, okay, I'm locked in. I have the confidence that, yeah, I can hold this block. And I think that's something that Shanahan did so well in that Rams game. And you saw it early, it was a lot of quick stuff. And then later when it was, hey, you know, we're going to hold the block a little bit. Brunskill, McGlinchey, they did a fantastic job. And I think he's done a better job of keeping them mentally kind of engaged that way. Short passes. And then, hey, McGlinchey's great at the run blocking. He's probably one of the best run blocking tackles in the game. If not the best, he's top three or four, easy. Give him the run, let him eat, you know, again, build up that confidence. Like, you know, they love that, you know, especially in the run game when they can just run and just run people over and they don't have to worry about, you know, holding the block. They're the ones initiating contact. I'm gonna go blow somebody up. And
Yeah.
you're seeing, I think the confidence is there. And like I said, kudos to Shanahan. He after Miami, I think he figured it out. He figured out like, hey, I can't run the offense this way. I need to go back to what I do best and tweak it. And
Boom.
you know,